Hey, hey, my name is Tiffany Watson. For those who do not know me, welcome to another edition of March is Credit Education Month. And so I have been going live each and every week talking to some of my friends to talk to us about different credit tips, ways to understand our credit reports, our credit scores, how to build and repair our credit, strategies to keep us successful. And so today, I have a very special guest that is going to be joining me. One of my friends, Melissa Watkins, who is the founder of Kinks Consulting, she is actually going to get to tell us about how to build and repair our credit. So, whether you are just getting started, you are new and you don't have a lot of credits, or we may have done some things and we are looking to figure out how we can get back on the right track because you can do a lot with credit. Leveraging your credit is super, super important. It's a great way, it's a great asset to be able to build wealth. And so, as y'all know, I'm all about being your aid to assets. So, we're going to have Melissa come in and talk to us a little bit so that way we can learn these tips to know what we need to do in order to be able to build our credit so that way we can do some things. We can leverage other people's money, O.P.M. I'm sure if you haven't already, you may have from different folks on the internet. That is a very, very popular topic nowadays about O.P.M, other people's money. This is what they're talking about. They are talking about using credit in order to be able to buy assets to be successful. And so we want to help you to know how to do that. So Melissa is going to be able to talk to us about what that's like, how we do it. And so I'm so excited for this conversation. Melissa, hey girl, how you
I'm
doing?
good. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. I'm so excited.
Well, before we jump in, will you please just introduce yourself to the people, tell them who you are and what you do, and why they need to go ahead and get their notebooks, their pen and pad ready.
Okay, so my name is Melissa Watkins. I am a board certified credit consultant, a board certified credit repair specialist. I do business funding, business credit. Hey, Lisa, a little bit of all of that. So I get funding. We do business funding. We get a lot of people, a lot of money. O.P.M is my favorite. Is just leveraging your personal credit to be able to buy assets and just grow generational wealth.
I love it. I love it. So before we even get started to the tips, like how did you get started into this?
Yeah, so I got started in 26. Well, actually, I got started back in like 2005. Growing up, I didn't know anything about personal credit. So when I remember I was like 18 and I got a credit card for like $500, I was like, okay, yeah, max this thing out. Just didn't know, wasn't knowledgeable about it. So kind of over the years, I really still didn't know what I was doing, but I still was able to grow it to like the 700s. And so that's how I got started with it. And then I started credit repair business with a good friend in 2016. And then I just started my solo business last year in March of 2022.
Wow, yes to the businesses. So we're gonna go ahead and get it out the way because I've already heard people, they're like, Tiffany, credit repair, I heard
Yes.
that's a scam. Like what are we doing?
Yes.
So I've seen what you can do for people, but I would love for you to just address that so we can get that out the way so we can get to the good stuff.
Absolutely. So there is, I cannot lie, there is a lot of, unfortunately, bad stigma report with the credit repair business. At one point, I really just wanted to get out of it, honestly, because of the bad stigma. But I feel like God had me to stay in to show that there is there's a lot of integral credit repair companies, but that there you can be integral, and it really is just going off the laws and using that and just being, like I said, integral, going by the law. And stuff like that. So it's definitely legal credit repair. It's great for people who don't have time to, send out letters and stuff like that. I always tell people you can do it for free. Just some people don't have time. So that's where we come in. We specialize with a lot of my clients now are like a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, and they just a lot of them don't have time.
Yes.
But we do have our free DIY. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well,
Well, I would say that's
we do
perfect because
offer a
that's the
free
thing that
DIY program
people.
as well too for people who do have time and want to do it. It's completely free. So I think just showing people that you know, you can be integral with it, that you don't have to do shiesty stuff, that you don't have to charge people thousands of dollars and, you know, just scam people. It's a lot of scamming out there. So I often educate people on like red flags of credit repair companies as well too.
I love that, because I tell people we pay for convenience all the time. This is no
Absolutely.
different. And so in any industry, in anything that you are going to come across, there are going to be people who are going to try to take advantage. That doesn't mean that the actual thing itself is a scam. It's not good. It's just the people that we come in contact with. And so I appreciate you and letting people know that, one, as a credit professional that has been in this business, you've seen it. You know, we can talk about later some of the ways that people can identify if this is someone that they should trust, but also knowing that you can go to YouTube University and do that all yourself, but is that the best use of your time? And that's the thing that we are trying to really focus on. Of like, we're trying to build these businesses. We're trying to do some things. I have an audience where they are trying to buy houses. And so me sitting here sending letters and keeping track of how many days, and that is not what I want to be focusing on.
Exactly. Yeah, so you're right, 100%. I always tell people, I'm like, it's nothing. I mean, we do a lot of different tactics and a lot of different strategies to get people, you know, quicker and better results, but you can 1,000% do it on your own. So don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it on your own, because you can. So, and I would say, okay, so red flags. Red flag number one would be that they promise you that they can get you to a specific score in a specific amount of time. There is no way that can give you averages all day of our typical client, but I can't say like, and actually I'll turn people away if they're like, hey, I want a 750 by next month. I'm like, okay, well, you should find another company, because I do things, you know, legally. And yeah, if we did like identity theft, you know, method or something like that, yeah, we can get you a credit sweep and get you wiped out, you know, but that's just not unless you have identity theft, you really don't have any business doing that. So there's a lot of companies, you know, that do it like that. So that's red flag. And according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, we aren't able to say those type of things. So that's red flag number one. Two, getting money before services. So we're actually, as credit repair organizations, aren't allowed to charge before services. So like I charge a setup fee to cover mailing costs and like the portal account setup and stuff, but we actually can't charge until 30 days after the work is already done. So a lot of people will pay, you know, $5,000, $1,000 up front, maybe just a one-time fee. You're not really supposed to do that. So that's another like red flag. Two is just, you know, reviews are like I said, just not, okay, we're gonna get you at 800 next month, or, you know, they're just wiping everything out, everything good, everything bad. So there's quite a few red flags that you can see. And then, you know, just talking to other people as well too. Do they have referrals? You know, how do they seem when you're do they do a free analysis for you? Are they kind of telling you what they're going to work on? How can you track the results? If you already paid a company, are you getting correspondence in the mail? You should be getting a ton of mail if someone's actually legitimately working on your credit.
Got it. Okay, so that's super helpful. And I know that second one that you mentioned, I especially want to make sure that I really highlight.
Yes.
Like, you should not be paying people that are doing your credit repair before the work is done. That is so huge. And I have definitely seen that, where it's like, well, you got to give me X amount of dollars, and it is literally several thousands of dollars. You don't know what you're paying for.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's good. Okay, so speaking of receipts, that's the next thing, because I've seen it. I know you. I have seen what you can do for the people, but I would love for you to just talk about, like, what does that actually look like when someone is going to a credit repair professional? What are some of the things that if they have a goal, like, what should they be looking for? Yeah. And what are some of the results that you've been able to accomplish?
Yeah, absolutely. So we always start out with a free analysis, because we're not going to take a client on if we can't help them. So some of the things that we look at, and one of the things that might disqualify temporarily, at least if the client is still having, you know, late payments on stuff or in a financial bind at that time, we'll always tell them to get caught up, because if not, we're like working against each other if we're getting stuff removed and they're getting stuff added on at the same time. So we always do a free credit analysis. So whether they want to work with us or not, they know what they need to, you know, the game plan. They know what's hurting them. They know what they need to do. Also, we'll look at their credit utilization. A lot of times people don't need credit repair. It's just their credit utilization is high, and that can drop you 100+ points just from having high credit utilization. So we'll tell them how much they need to pay it down, and kind of like, all right, this is like, if you have a card for $1,000, I always say 30%, under 30% utilization is good. But especially for my funding clients and, people who are trying to max out get the highest score, between 2 to 6% utilization. I'm like, the rest doesn't exist, or find out the state, call the credit card company and ask what day they report to the credit bureaus, because often that date is different from the statement date.
Okay.
So that's another thing as well too. So we'll go over that. We'll, answer any questions they have. If they need, sometimes they don't have anything good on there. So we'll start like credit builder accounts to try to establish some positive payment history, because if we get everything negative taken off, then they're just not going to have a score because it's nothing positive to generate. So that's kind of some things that we do before we even take on a client, is all of that. And then if they want to proceed, with the program, then we'll take their setup fee. Like I said, that just covers mailing costs and the portal account setup. So our clients can track results 24/7 in their portal account. They can upload documents, things of that nature, so that they're never like, well, what's going on? Like, is anything getting removed? So every 30 days, their portal account gets updated with that information. As far as receipts, yes, we don't do traditional disputing. We use what's called Metro 2 compliance based. So, for example, let's say, have you ever seen an account on someone's credit report and it like all three bureaus are like reporting different amounts, or the date open was different, or it's like a collection account and it's showing like it's open, like they have a credit limit on it, which it shouldn't be when it's a collection account. So basically, we go in there and nitpick everything and hold them accountable for those Metro 2 compliance-based infringements on there. So we're able to get a lot of like legitimate late payments removed, but able to keep the account. A lot of times people are able to dispute the whole account, but it gets rid of all their positive payment history too. So we want to just get rid of that late payment and keep the account. So collections, charge-offs, repossessions, bankruptcies, we've had success with all those types of things.
Wait, so you can actually get a late payment completely taken off of your account?
Absolutely.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, we do it very, very frequently. We get late payments deleted, especially like student loans. Student loans report so ridiculous sometimes. So it'll say on time, and then it'll say 90 days past due. So we're like, okay, how was it on time this month, and the next month is 90 days past due? The math isn't math. So we're able to, like, especially with those student loans, get all that corrected.
Okay. So basically, it sounds like, to begin with, people need to just go and review their credit report, and you will walk them through that. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Walk them through and educate them.
And then there are 3 different credit bureaus. So can you tell us, like, what's the purpose of the 3 different credit bureaus? Why is that important?
Yep. So one misconception is people think that these 3 credit bureaus are the government, and they're for-profit companies, and they make billions of dollars a year. Like in 2022, I can't remember which one made like $9 billion, and they make money selling people's information, credit monitoring, things of that nature. So they're for-profit companies. They make a lot of money. So I always tell people, like, don't be scared of them. They have to uphold the law. They're not the government. So go ahead, and if you want to send them a letter every day, go ahead, and they'll get sick of you after a while. So that's the one thing. And then another thing that we do in our company is we actually challenge innovates. So a lot of people don't know about that. That's like the 4th main credit bureau. So a lot of times, okay, so for example, bankruptcies, right? The bankruptcy courts don't report to the credit bureaus. LexisNexis is another credit bureau that holds and houses all that information. So we attack LexisNexis as well, because the main 3 are going back to LexisNexis saying, is this legit? LexisNexis is saying yes, and then it just comes as, verified. So we attack LexisNexis. Same with Innovis. Innovis holds, charge-offs, collections, medical, utilities and stuff like that. So we actually, for our clients, challenge the whole Innovis credit report, because you actually have a credit report with them as well too. So that's one thing that people don't know a lot, that there's like a 4th credit. There's a lot of credit bureaus actually, but those are the main 4.
So basically, we going to the source, and they're the ones that are telling us.
Exactly.
So we can get them to stop. And so they're selling our information. So when I am like agreeing, because of course I didn't read to what I'm signing up for, that's basically how they are getting my information to share with other people.
Yeah, and there's a lot of it's public records and stuff like that. Yeah, so you can freeze, any of those credit bureaus and stuff like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't report the negative stuff. It just can get them from sharing it, with other parties and stuff. But you
Okay,
still want to challenge or dispute with them directly as well too.
got it. Okay, so now let's break down the credit score. Like, what is considered an average credit score, a good credit score? Like, how do we determine that?
Yeah, so anything over 680 is like a good credit score. You can
Okay.
usually typically get funding and, different things of that nature on there. Anything over 750 is pretty much like having an 850. 750 to 780 range is
Mm-hmm.
considered excellent. So you'll be able to, get the lowest interest rates and things of that nature. And then anything under like 620, 650 to 620 is like, average in the poor range or needs improvement
Okay.
range.
Okay. So if I'm just starting out, what are some things that I need to do to help me build credit while still being responsible?
Absolutely. So my daughter actually just turned 18 in November. So I'll kind of just share how we set her up for success, which I think is like generational wealth credit edition. So when she was 13 or 14, we had her sign up with a Navy Federal checking account. So as she was doing her, little jobs and stuff over the years, she was building a relationship with Navy Federal. So then we also added her before she turned 18 as an authorized user on my Navy Federal credit card, and then as a authorized user on a Kohl's credit card that was like 10 years old or something. And then, so when she turned 18, her credit score just from being an authorized user was like 760 or something like that.
Come
Yeah.
on.
So then we went applied for two cards for herself. One was a Navy Federal. She was immediately approved for 3,900, which is rare, but she had built
Yeah.
that relationship. They have an internal score as well too as just using your external score. So she got that, and then she got $1,000 Discover card. So I've already like over the years explained to them about her and her brother about the importance of credit.
Hmm.
So she knows, like, one, she doesn't like debt. So she's like, I'm like, basically, I'm like, you got this 10% to use.
Yeah.
Anything over
Hmm.
that doesn't exist. So, I mean, she usually pays it like the next day. She just like, I don't know. She doesn't use it unless she has the cash to pay it. But so that is one way. So another way too is if you aren't able to, get authorized users, get added as an authorized user would be like credit builder accounts. Kickoff is a great company. They have installment or revolving, like $5 a month. I have actually a link to in my bio with a whole list of like credit builder accounts as well that I recommend.
Okay. Okay. Now, let me ask with the authorized user, let's say, for example, I want to put my little sister on my account to help build her credit. Is she going to have access to be able to
Yeah,
use my credit
so the
card?
card, but yeah, that's a great question. So the card actually comes to you, and you can really just shred it. You can also put limits on there, like you can say they can only spend, even though they wouldn't have it, but if for some reason they were like to, go around you or be feisty or something, you can say like they can only spend $100 max or something.
Okay.
So they're not like maxing you out. But yeah, so they typically don't have access to your account or, any access like that, but you can put limits on it. The main thing is if you are getting added as an authorized user on someone else's card, make sure they pay their bills. The worst thing I can see is when I see people's credit and they have an authorized user and it's like 95% utilization, late payments. I'm like, take
Mm-hmm.
yourself off of there immediately. It's not helping you, it's hurting you. So it can help
Mm-hmm.
you or it can hurt you if the person isn't responsible. So low utilization, great history, that's
Okay.
what you want to look for.
Now, is there an age limit? Let's say, because I know a lot of my followers, they have children now, and so they are in that stage. Is there an age that kids have to be before they're able to be added as an
Some
authorized user?
of them, it is no age limit. Some is starting at 13, so you would just have to
Okay.
check the card, and you can call them and ask them, and they'll let you know.
Okay. That's super cool. And so that's definitely because I can't even imagine coming out 18 years old with a 700, 750 credit
She's
score.
at
That is
13 now.
phenomenal.
She's at 813 now.
Girl, her credit score higher than mine. Like,
Be that 813. Yeah.
That is amazing. And it's so important for us to be able to instill this in our kids, because I feel
Yeah.
like for so many of us, we didn't learn, we didn't have these conversations.
Absolutely.
And so we're trying to figure out now on the back end.
Yes.
And so to be able to show those that are younger than us how they can do that is amazing. So shout out to you, Mom,
Thank you.
for just making
Thank
sure your
you.
kids are getting these important lessons, because we know our school system is not going to teach them.
Absolutely not. And I said, even as like a, like culturally too, unfortunately, you see a lot of people that were, growing up and they had light bills and, started out life with
Yep.
bad credit. And so I'm
Yep.
like, we can break that generational curse and
Yes.
break that, stigma of our kids always grow up with bad credit, because this is what other cultures have been doing for years, setting their kids up for
Absolutely.
success credit wise. So.
Right. I love that. I love that. Okay. So let's shift gears now and let's talk about someone who they may have got the free pizza in college, and
Yeah.
so they signed up for the credit card.
Yeah.
And so now they're trying to figure out what they need to do in order to get back on the right path. Do you see this often? What suggestions do you have for them?
Absolutely, yeah. So one is just like let go of the shame associated. A lot of people are just like, if I don't look at it, it doesn't exist. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, we all have our stories. Like, I have my story, even that I didn't even go over with my credit struggles and stuff over the years. So really just like giving yourself grace and learning from it and moving on and just dealing with it. Like, okay, so what can I do? Can I challenge this account? Is it about to fall off? What can I do? Do I need to add some positive payment history on there? And getting a professional to give you advice if you don't know, because it's okay not to know if you didn't grow up knowing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing, because I grew up hearing like, oh, just 7 years. That, I don't know why, but that 7 years just kind of stuck in my head,
Yeah.
where it's like, if you mess up, then that's it. And
that's
7
it.
years is a long
It's a
time.
long time. And it's like you need credit for everything. You can't even get an apartment, without credit.
Yeah.
So it's really important. Yeah.
So tell me more about, you mentioned if we need to have positive accounts. Is there a certain number of accounts that we should have on our credit profile to help
like
us?
6 to 7 open is really good. If you can have a mixture of like revolving, installment, if you can do mortgage, that's awesome. Just a great mixture is good.
Okay. Now, do you have tips that you give people on if they're trying to build up those 6 to 7 ways or strategies that they can still be smart about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, if they were trying to do Amex, American Express, once you do that first hard inquiry, the rest are soft pulls. So you could have 3 cards with Amex and only have 1 inquiry. And then you can do some installment loans that are credit builder accounts that don't require inquiries as well too. So you can really just do that. And a lot of them are like savings accounts, like you put like $5 in every month or 50 or whatever. And at the end of that term, you get it back. So I would do that.
Wait a minute. Hold on. We got to go all the way back. So wait, I can get 1 credit pull. Well, first of all, explain to the folks, just in case, what an inquiry is on the
so an inquiry is when a company pulls your credit.
Okay.
It's called a hard pull. So when they actually pull your credit report, it shows up on your credit report as an inquiry, a hard inquiry. You don't want a lot of hard inquiries on your credit report. It is a part of the FICO scores factor that kind of hurts you if you have like excessive amount of inquiries. So yes, if you go to American Express, they pull from Experian. You do that initial pull. The rest for the lifetime of your account is soft pull.
Wow. And so I can get 2 American Express cards and only have to worry about that 1 inquiry that's when I first open my account.
Absolutely.
That's super cool. Okay. And I don't know too many banks that only have 1 credit card. So you can get options. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. Now, the second thing you mentioned was an installment loan. Tell me more about what that is.
So installment loan. Okay. So let me tell you what we did with my daughter for that, because we actually, that's what boosted her over to the 815. So Navy Federal.
From my daughter. Come on.
Navy Federal has what's called a pledge loan. So basically, like the amount, you tell them what credit limit you want. So for her, we just did $500. We had $500 in her savings account. They pull that money temporarily for like 2 days, and then they release it back to you. And you have to pay on this loan. It's like a secured loan. So we put 400, we put $450 initially towards the loan. So then when it posted to her credit report, it shows she paid 95% off the loan, and that boosted her up 38 points.
Because she only had 5% left that she had to go.
Exactly.
Wow.
So then we're gonna
Okay.
hold that out. That the remaining $50 will pay that over the 6 months until the term of the loan is gone. But yeah, so it helped give her an installment loan,
So
and
you
it's
can
like
pay,
2%
and
interest
you
or
can pay
something
like
like that.
$10, and you still using that
Exactly.
same money. Okay.
Exactly. So it's really
Okay.
like a loan for like, $50 loan that you're paying 2% interest on.
Okay. And to boost your credit score, like that's nothing. Like if
Yeah.
you try to get that
Yeah.
on there. Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, one other thing you mentioned was you were talking about the 5 to 7, or I think you said 5 to 7 accounts, positive accounts that you need to
Yeah.
have. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, do those need to be certain type of accounts?
I would say just a mixture of installment and credit cards. So, if you can have, even if it's 2 installment and 4 credit cards, any type of mixture of there. They just like to see FICO, the way it's calculated, likes to see like a good mixture of accounts.
Okay, so if I have like my Amex card, and then I have like you said, you had a Kohl's card earlier, and so if I have just like a bank credit card, but then a store credit card, and maybe something else I can
Yeah,
do like that. Perfect.
absolutely.
And then you talked about revolving credit. Tell me more about that.
So revolving credit is a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
It just says on the credit report, it just says credit card. So basically the bank will give you a credit limit. They're like, hey, you have $5,000 to spend on this card, and you're able to charge and make payments every month on the credit card, and it reports to the credit bureaus.
So what happens if I had a credit card, I was balling out of control a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just pay this off and close it. Is that actually helping me?
It actually hurts you. I'm not a big fan of ever, unless it's like super, super necessary, because it shortens your average age of accounts. So we want at least 7 years of history. So if you're like constantly closing accounts, it's shortening and shortening that average age of accounts.
Got it. So that's where that 7 comes in.
Yeah,
Okay, so you can have that long history to show that you have been able to
exactly.
have credit and use it wisely.
Exactly. And that's another benefit of, having an authorized user, because we gave her history, my daughter history on her credit report. Because if not,
Got
she
it.
would have had like, 2 months of history on there. So
I remember that. I remember being very upset. Like, why y'all blaming me because I'm young? So
exactly. Yes. Yeah.
got it. Okay. And then, so my last question is, so with the late payments, because there are definitely folks who we may have missed a payment or two,
Yeah.
and you mentioned the difference between having like a 30-day late notice on there or a 90-day. What do we need to do if we wanted to come to you and get that taken care of?
Yeah, so you would just start out with a free analysis, and we would look over the credit report on there. But yeah, 30, I mean, late payments can drop people like 100 points. They're really,
Wow.
really detrimental. I mean, I've seen it 100, 150 points. That and new collections, it can significantly hurt someone. So I always like, if you can call, try to work out whatever you can. Sometimes it's just that you can't prevent it, but
Yeah.
always try to call and see if you can get like some type of payment plan or something so it doesn't report late. But if you do, then we can definitely assist you. But I always say try to prevent it at any lengths. Now, another tip as well too is, if you have positive payment history, I'm a big fan of emailing the CEO of that company. And if you call and they say they can't help you, and just say, hey, it's called like a goodwill letter, and you'll be surprised how many get removed just from doing that.
Come
Yeah.
on, goodwill letter. Y'all hear that? Goodwill letter. Google that. I'm sure
Yeah.
there is a template
There'll be a
online.
lot of options.
Email the
Or just,
CEO.
an email just like, hey, I've been a client since blah, blah, blah. I had this late payment. This is why it was late. Please, I would love if you could take this 30-day late removal and stuff like that. The worst they can say is no.
Right.
But
And
yeah,
you
go to the
in the same
CEO.
position.
I mean, you can try with the credit department, but if they're playing around, go to the CEO. You can Google these CEOs' information.
I
I
love
literally,
that.
yeah, I be doing that with I literally had to do that for my mom, because they had a fire and they had an insurance claim, and they were playing around, and she kept doing supervisors and stuff like that. I said, bro, that girl, the next day, that department was calling from the CEO's office to rectify that situation.
Wow.
I had to do it for myself with this RV we had. We had a extended warranties, been since July. that we've been trying to cancel it, and they were playing. Okay, I got something for you, CEO. Guess who's good? You know, like sometimes you just gotta stop, like don't play around.
Yeah, we
Hey,
going to the
Jamel.
top. We going to the
Exactly.
top. I love that because it circles right back to what you said at the beginning. We can't just avoid this. This is our credit,
Exactly.
and so we have. Then also, if we see issues, don't just run from them because they're not going to go
No,
away. And
it's not gonna go
so,
away.
faith in it.
Hey,
Seeing there's always something that we can do about them, and so I
exactly.
love that. I will definitely like that's new. Like I want to tell everybody that now. Like go, and you're right because I mean everybody can be found on Google, and so these people they want to have your business. They want you to continue
Exactly.
to spend money with them. So that's awesome. I love that. Oh, okay. So we got Jamal. Jamal says he has a
Okay,
question for us.
Jamel.
Let's
Okay.
go ahead and type your question. While he's putting his question in the chat, I want to ask you, tell me your favorite success story of a client that you got to work with and what were you able to do for them?
So let's see. Oh, I have so many. I mean, like
Besides
we
your
worked
mom,
with.
because you just told me you help your mom, and I just love that. I
I
think
did,
that's
and they
amazing.
bought. They actually bought this house last year. So that was an amazing thing because was able to help them with their credit. So it was really, fulfilling to see them be able to buy their home for that. And I've helped, I mean, so
Wow.
many people. We worked really heavy with a mortgage company. So just seeing people being able to buy homes. One lady, her husband had died from cancer, so we helped her out. That was super fulfilling. She was able to buy a car on her
Wow.
own, so that was just like amazing. And then just when you have like big name, it's really successful people need help with their credit and stuff, that's always really cool
Yeah. That's wild. And I mean, I don't know how you don't just be crying. Like, I'm such a crybaby. And so I feel
yes,
like when people are celebrating with me, I'm just so ecstatic for them. And I don't even know them. So I can imagine when you actually get those stories and know you are the
it's
person that were able
amazing.
to help them.
It definitely keeps you going for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
okay, so
Okay.
Jamel, you saw a letter for medical bill collection is not on your report. Very, very good. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to respond to them because the whole goal is to not to get it to go on your credit report. Can you email me and I'm going to send you a letter that you can send to them? That's the problem is a lot of people get this mail and they don't. Okay, you were insured during this period. Oh, so call the collection agency and you can actually send them something in writing too with the insurance card. Yep, call them. Call the original creditor first and say, hey, I see this collection was on here. This is my insurance information. I need you to run it again, please, and pull this account from collections. A
Look at
lot of people ignore
that.
those. And
Me.
like, yeah, don't ignore them. Because 9 times out of 10, they be messing up. Like Jamel said, you be having insurance and you give them the card at the time of service and they be trying to send you the collections. Like,
And it's so
no.
bad. I think I'm so used to like emailing stuff. So one, I forget to check the mail all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I check the mail, I'm like, oh, this ain't nothing but bills that I done probably already paid and throw it away.
Exactly.
And then it'd be that one time that you see something and you missed it. So Jamel, I hope that is helpful and
Yes.
that you were able to get that resolved. Any last tips, words of wisdom that you want to leave folks with?
Yeah, I would say just be proactive with it. I mean, there's so many ways that you can utilize and leverage your good personal credit to grow businesses, start businesses, grow businesses, obtain assets for your family and stuff. So really, really, it's like credit is king. Really, really just dive into it. And if you don't know what you're doing, we'll be happy to assist you. Please tell your family members, friends, and stuff like that. Anyone who could benefit from that. I give a ton of free tips on my page. So, even if you do a free analysis, like you don't have to sign up with our service. You can just get the information and go on your own. The whole purpose of why we do that is we want to give people the information. So just take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah, there's so much that we don't know, and that ignorance tax it costs
Exactly.
us a lot. We lose so much money because we don't know. I see there's one more. There's an Old Navy credit card from 2017. How do they get it off?
Okay. So it's about 6 years old. I would have to look at your credit report, but honestly, with the age, it's gonna come off next year anyways. You might not want to touch it because it's not affecting your score anymore, but we could do a free analysis and let you know for sure.
So with that, how do the people get in touch with you if they want to do this free analysis or if they do have questions?
Absolutely. So they can email us. Our website is King, creditexperts.com. I'll drop it in the chat. And if they go there, they can just click the tab for the free analysis.
Got it. And then on social media, how do the folks find you if they want to follow your
I'm on,
pages and get the
yes, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I think that's all. And YouTube, Business Credit Melissa.
Business Credit Melissa,
Yeah.
all spelled out?
Yes.
Okay. Business Credit Melissa on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Melissa Watkins is here. Melissa, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I am
I
so
really appreciate
appreciative.
you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. I like the more that I learn, the more I realize just how much I don't know. And so I
Right.
am grateful for I'm grateful for people like you that are willing to come on and share your knowledge. We're gonna have to get you back so then you can talk to us about business credit versus business funding. And so y'all, I'm thankful for y'all to spend time with us. Melissa told you how to find us. If you're here, if you're following me, I'm so grateful for you. Again, Aid to Assets on all social media platforms. Have a great night. Bye.